you to accept.
I know. I had to have the right pillows. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. Very perfect pillows. They're calling it showers. Not exactly rain. So I think that means it's maybe supposedly showers tomorrow. It's on Saturday and it's on Monday.
Well, if it's a shower, I suppose I should let out a make out there and take some soap.
I know you're just waiting for an excuse to do that. Maybe before I go home, to get you to it, so I won't be able to go to the tennis tomorrow. Unless I come over in the morning. See if you can help me. Yeah, what it has to do is
No, you just press. It'll look great.
That's it.
That's it. You can do it right now.
Let me see if I can. It's fun to see who's. Tell me right away. That was that simple. Just pushing.
Did you close it? Restart it?
Yeah.
Oh, update. Update.
There you are.
Right.
Right there. Oops.
Okay.
There you are again, right there.
Right. And do you want it open?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So let's see here.
Good evening, my friends, and welcome to meditation, live stream meditation with that Gary Springfield chap. That's me, live in person, in the flesh. So, of course, our work is around the magic, the mystery, the beauty of the star tetrahedron, which is a mystical marriage of the divine masculine, upper triangulation, with the divine feminine of love, which then creates this waveform of light that is a prismatic waveform of light and consciousness. And as it spins and moves, it opens in a doorway right in the very middle, which is in the area of the heart chakra. And as that doorway opens, it is back into the void, the source of spirit, and arising forth as a living spring is this essence that as it touches the facets of the spinning star tetrahedron, it then literally emanates out the creative reality that we experience. I was talking to a client, a friend, yesterday, and this individual was going through quite a bit of drama, travail, difficulties, and had moved from the place of frustration and anger to a place of hopelessness. And a couple of things about that. If we're in frustration or if we're in anger, that's a good emotion because it means we can then rev up the energy of the red of anger one more notch to the pure red of action. And we can take action to change our reality, to change ourselves, to change what's going on. But what happened with this individual, rather than coming up to the red of fire and action, they then descended deeper down into then the darker colors, which then finally comes the darker blues of despair and finally hopelessness. And so one is then locked in the mire and the mud of hopelessness. And so I told her that as I looked at her energy field, that her aura, actually the auric field that she was encased within, that we are all within this auric field of our own individuality, it was still pure and perfect. It was radiant and it was shining. But what she was picking up on, her mind, which is the light of focus, and as we work with the star tetrahedron, it is the upper triangulation of masculine power that is the light of focus. But when the light of focus is then the mind of thinking, and we're not really controlling the mind, her mind then went to the examination of what was going on in the world, examining all of the travail, the difficulties, the challenges, the COVID, the capital uprising, the things that are going on, politically, socially. And as her mind began to examine all of those, it literally began by that focusing upon them, began to attract them to her. And so here was the pure auric field that is the true being that she is, this very beautiful, almost turquoise blue radiance of joy and of creativity and imagination. But the mind, by focusing upon these things, began to pull all that darker energy to her, and then it then began to encase her. And so around her was this very deep, dark blue of worry, of fear, of hopelessness of humanity, because a lot of humanity now is in fear and worry. and it's become a mass consciousness. And it's this fear and worry that has become almost like a seething form that is now moving, just kind of silently slithering around the world. And if you focus upon it, it immediately, just like a glom, it gloms onto you. And then you're then living in this field that is now somewhat suffocating you. And if something doesn't take place to change your vibration, it becomes hopeless. And so I told her, because she was quite familiar with the star tetrahedron and with the particular meditation work, that the mind was the one that was now out of balance by drawing to it, to the focusing upon those things. And if she would simply begin to focus once again upon that which is the true, upon what she would like to imagine, what she would like to feel. Because I told her that what is happening in the world today, we could call it old news. It's something that is happening now because of events and circumstances and people's manipulation and control over many centuries, over a long time space of masculine manipulation and control that has brought the world to this point of crisis. And the world is somewhat, we could say, crumbling, destructuring, because the old news now needs to be built into new news. And how do we build that into new news? It's by focusing the mind. And this is what we do in our meditation. We teach the mind to be focused and be an agent of simply light, just like the projector at the movie. And then we hold the light upon what we would like to see, upon what we would like to imagine, which is then the feminine principle. The feminine principle then is love, it's joy, it's creativity, it's the beauty of life unfolding. This is what the mother, the feminine, does. And it is the masculine that gives it life. It gives it the light to then grow, to unfold. And the analogy that I gave her was, if you can imagine a seed, and within the seed, all the potentiality of the beautiful flower or the tree or even the fruiting of the tree is within the seed. But you take the seed, and in the wintertime, which is right now, we plant the seed in the ground, and in the darkness, the seed doesn't go into a place of despair nor of hopelessness. The seed, in its deep inner knowing, feels this imprint, this almost like archetype of this great flower it's going to become, this great tree in its becoming. And so there is this quiet, almost esoteric imagination that is taking place within the deepness of this seed, that when the light then finally comes in the springtime and the sun, the light, the warmth, it touches the seed. It's the light that then gives to this imagination which is inside the flowering, the blossoming, the coming forth. Well, it's exactly the same with you and I. The old news, it's crumbling, it's falling away. We call it COVID, we call it political upheaval, we call it financial difficulties, but these are only happening to people because they really haven't been focused upon the truth. And the truth is loving, sharing, it is compassion, it is sensitivity, it is giving, it is oneness of all of life and all of humanity, rather than manipulation and control and wanting and needing to try and find something outwardly to feel good enough inwardly. What we're looking for is love. And love can only arise forth, and validation can only arise forth when we learn to love and validate ourselves, because then that is the ultimate connection to Source, which we are. It's within us. It's not out there. That's the old news. It's the old paradigm. We're looking out there for God, for spiritual illumination, for religion, for money, for power, for glamour, for recognition. That's the old news. I told her very clearly that when you begin to use the true masculine of simply the focusing of the light of the mind, and now begin to imagine the feelings of what would be the creation that I would bring forth. And if you focus the mind and imagine clearly enough, it has to create it. That is the magic of the star tetrahedron. It is the focusing of divine mind power, the feeling of divine love, imagination, feminine. When the two come together, and now there is this rotation of these forces around, within, and through you, it opens the sacred doorway within. Arising forth is the living essence of spirit, that which gives life to the imagination, to the focusing of creation. And as the wellspring of spirit arises forth, it touches the facets of the spinning star tetrahedron. Resting upon these prismatic forms is the imagination, the feelings of prosperity, the feelings of joy, the imagination of creativity, the excitement of enthusiasm, of all that one would love to find their life to be, and one now creates it. It's no longer needing it, manipulating it, wanting it. That's old news. The new paradigm of the Aquarian age that we've stepped to in is I am the creator God. I am. It's within. And it's from within to the without in this great wellspring of creation that we become creator gods, we become creator beings. And this is the birthright of where humanity is moving to. But we must imagine what that looks like. We must imagine what it feels like. And as you go deep inside after your meditation and you begin to hold these feelings of prosperity, I said to this dear person, I said, now after meditation, just begin to actually feel yourself as a great creator that you are. What is this great painting you're wanting to bring forth? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's your imagination? If it could just happen in magic right now, and if you focus and imagine it enough, you'll begin to artistically create it. And because you put such magic into it, someone will want to come and buy it. You're not looking for a buyer. You're not looking to sell it. You're simply creating on the canvas the imagination and the beauty and the glory of spirit arising forth. This is what a great song does. This is what a great painting does. This is what any great thing does. It has spirit living within and through it. And then people want it. They want to be near it. They want that feeling. This is great art. This is great music. This is great writing. This is great books. This is great teaching. It has life within it. It isn't something that is simply a piece of abstract no thing. It's life emanating from it. And it has life emanating from it because the mind of focus through the imagination is actually seated on the canvas, in the song, in the writing, in whatever work you're bringing forth, that feeling tone that is the vibration of truth and love and light. And people want that. People, they want to experience that. That's what great art is about. And that's what great works are about. And that's what humanity is about now. How can I focus my mind and simply feel that which I would create? And we have the tools, we have the knowledge. This is the star tetrahedron. And it is the Christ field that we create now. We're not looking for the outer Christ. We're not looking for the outer form to fulfill us. We become this great creator being by focusing the divine power of the mind upon the great feeling of divine feminine love. And then it creates this prismatic waveform that in our meditation, we actually feel it moving and flowing in this golden array of living light around us. And from inside out, we feel the wellspring of spirit arising forth. So that is the magic of our work and the magic of the star tetrahedron. So we come from hopelessness into creatorship by not looking at the old news, by not examining the old news, by not wanting to change the old news. We simply go to this place of imagination and what will I create? What will I feel? And it will begin to arise forth like flowers in the spring. And you'll be amazed at what you create by your imagination because you no longer look at the old news. You no longer look at the destructuring. You no longer dislike what is happening. It's important that it's happening. the political, the social, the economic. It's all important that it's happening so that it can be reborn in a new way, but it's reborn through imagination. So imagine, my friends, what you would create, and it will be so. So one of the ways that we get in touch with this feeling of source spirit arising forth is our breath work. We call it the Soham breath. And what it is, it's a deep in breath of bringing, of course, the breath of life within from oxygen that feeds the physical body. But equally important, we are feeling here in this open doorway in the very center of the chest that this is where the void arises forth as the breath of spirit. And so as we're we're breathing in to feed the physical body oxygen, but then from inside out, the so is summoning source from inside out. We feel the movement of this breath of life. It becomes very tangible. And then we hold for a couple of counts in the silence, feeling this profoundness of simply being, and then gentle exhale as we let go, the hum. We're then watching and feeling this golden, living, sparkling, effervescent sunlight flowing and radiating from us, feeding the body, or imagining it creating a new body of living light. We're imagining it flowing out into the world and giving life to all that is. And then we sit in the silence for a few moments. And once again, the deep in breath of so. So let's do the Soham breath for approximately 5 minutes. In all of our work, I'd like to encourage you to feel the spine quite erect, because it's the spine that becomes the rod of initiation. Upon the spine are the lotus jewels. And when the base of the spine, grounding with Mother Earth, love, is connected to the crown chakra, Father Spirit, it creates this golden tube of light up the spine, and upon it are 7 jewels of radiant light. Sometimes we call this the 7 dwarves. And the golden liquid light up the spinal column is the rod of initiation. So let's go ahead and do 5 minutes of the Soham breath, deep breathing. Diaphragm, belly breathing, and from inside out, the breath of spirit. With each breath, the body relaxes. There's a feeling of love that is resting upon all of the waters of the body. Love. With each breath, we deepen the breath and relax. Breathing source from inside out. Another deep breath or two. Summoning source from inside out. I am the light. Whenever we're feeling throughout the day that there's something that is happening that we're feeling a little bit challenged, or there's some emotion, or things just don't feel right, if you would just take time and do the Soham breath for that 5 minutes, summoning source from inside out, sitting quietly. You can do it in your auto, you can do it sitting at your office, you can go out and do a walk. And you'll find in that 5 minutes that it actually resets all the systems of the body. The mind comes back to a place of peace, and you feel from inside out, Source I am arising forth. So the star tetrahedron is this Christ field form created of consciousness and light. Of course, it could be any size. I do like to see it encompassing the body. But again, whatever comes forth in your imagination, you simply go with that. And it is the turning, of course, of the star tetrahedron, this prismatic form of light and consciousness, that as it spins around you, upper triangulation of divine power turning left to right clockwise, lower triangulation, divine feminine love turning right to left counterclockwise. It's the spinning that then opens the sacred door within the very center of the chest, the heart chakra, called the jewel in the lotus. It opens a doorway back into the realms of source, the void, and arising forth then as a living spring. Source then arises forth. It touches the facets of this spinning star, and now Source, God I am, is now spinning out living, sparkling, effervescent light from you. And it is then your imagination, the focusing of imagination upon the spinning light that is emitting from you, that creates the reality that you can then begin to be the architect of. What would I feel, create my life to be now that I take responsibility to be the great greater God I am? So I'm going to take you through the full formulation of the star tetrahedron, and then we'll meditate together for about 25 to 35 minutes. When we are working with the star tetrahedron meditation, it is again imagination. We simply imagine the star tetrahedron. And you will find over time, as I have found over time, that it becomes a very dynamic and radiant form that we begin to actually see, feel, and experience around us. It does take time because we are honing the mind brain away from the old way of thinking to simply culture it to be a source of living light that we imagine and create from. So let's go ahead and close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. And we can be aware of gently our Soham breath. Breath is life. From our work together, we know that when we bring a feeling of love to the waters of the body, It changes the vibration of those waters to become waters of love and of peace and of sanctity. Love the body, for you are the great spiritual being that has brought this form forth to learn to be a God on earth. Love the body. Then slowly bring attention between the eyebrows. As we draw a line straight back within the approximate center point of the head, we ignite with imagination the electric blue light of the soul. What I imagine is real. I imagine the waters of the brain, my mind becoming the purity of light I am. I bring the attention of light I am to the heart chakra and I illuminate, I imagine the star tetrahedron. Upper triangulation, apex above, is turning left to right, clockwise. Lower triangulation, divine feminine love, is moving right to left counterclockwise. As the Christ field flows around you, it opens a sacred doorway within the center of the chest, the heart chakra. Arising forth as a living spring, source spirit touches the facets of the spinning star and becomes sparkling, effervescent, living light through every cell and tissue of the physical form and flowing out into the world as living light. I will join with you and gather all of us together into the great light, golden, radiant Christ field. And welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. So we were speaking in the beginning about how whatever we are seeing right now in the moment, it's old news. It is simply a vibration that is here because things in the past have brought it to this particular point. Be it the environment, be it the political, be it the social, be it the economic, be it the virus. It's old news that you're seeing. And if you focus upon the old news and dislike it or judge it or create it, it's simply going to create more of that and attract it to you. Which is why in the new paradigm that we are hairbringers of, that we focus the light of the mind, light, true masculine, and as we hold and focus the light attentive upon imagination. I imagine and feel prosperity emanating from inside out, and the light of source from within through the facets of the star tetrahedron makes it so. I feel joy, I feel love, I feel health, I feel vitality, I feel excitement and enthusiasm. And as we feel and create these from inside out, that's the new news. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to begin to find and feel in the world before us. And so we must become the creators now of our reality. This is what the Aquarian Age is about, that we step into on December 21st of 2020. We're now moving into this new paradigm. The old news is crumbling away, the destruction, the falling away, the discord, the dislike, the judgment, the manipulation. It's news that's falling away, and now through imagination, focusing the mind, masculine, upon feminine heart, creativity, feeling, imagination, through the facets of the star tetrahedron. That becomes the news, the creation of your life. So very exciting and very dynamic. But we must now hold the mind ever more steady, focused, and clear. And that's why it becomes important to do our meditation practice, to do the Soham breath when things become challenging, to draw our attention away from things that are bothering us or that we dislike or discord. It's old news. Don't attract it to you. Be the creator of the light being that you are from inside out. Of course, very exciting to be with you again tonight. And I look forward to seeing you 2 weeks from now. If I can be of any service in any way, please let me know. I'm here to love to serve you. So very wonderfully excited to do that. Thanks for joining, my dear, dear friends. I appreciate and love you all immensely. Go forth and multiply.